enlightened life. Unlock inner serenity. The King Who Found Enlightenment. Once upon a time, there was a king who was very interested in Zen. He had heard stories about the enlightened masters, and he wanted to know what it was like to be truly awake. One day, the king decided to visit a Zen monastery. He met with the head monk and asked him to teach him about enlightenment. The monk smiled and said, "There is nothing to teach. Enlightenment is already here." The king was confused. "But I don't feel enlightened," he said. "I still have all of my problems." The monk nodded. "Of course you do," he said, "but that is because you are looking for enlightenment outside of yourself. Enlightenment is not something that you can acquire. It is something that you already are." The king was silent for a moment, trying to understand what the monk was saying. Then he said, "But how can I be enlightened if I still have problems?" The monk said, "The problems are not the problem. The problem is your attachment to the problems. When you are attached to your problems, you suffer. But when you let go of your attachments, you are free." The king thought about this for a long time. Finally, he said, "I think I understand." The monk smiled and said, "Good. Now, go and practice what you have learned." The king left the monastery, and he began to practice what the monk had taught him. He started to pay attention to his thoughts and feelings, and he noticed how he attached to his problems. As he let go of his attachments, he began to feel more and more free. One day, the king was walking in the forest when he came across a beggar. The beggar was dirty and ragged, and he was begging for food. The king felt compassion for the beggar, and he gave him some money. The beggar was grateful, and he said to the king, "Thank you, Your Majesty. You are a truly enlightened being." The king was surprised. "But I'm not enlightened," he said. "I still have problems." The beggar smiled and said, "Your problems are nothing compared to your enlightenment. You are already free, but you do not know it." The king thought about this for a moment, and then he smiled. He realized that the beggar was right. He was already enlightened, but he had not been able to see it. The king continued to practice Zen, and he eventually became a great master. He taught many people about the path to enlightenment, and he helped them to see their own true nature. Enjoy in peace. Thank you.